Hello, welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to show you how to make dragon's blood oil. Stay tuned. Okay, so I wanted to cover something that I was asked about in one of my live streams, and I was considering kicking back, just having some margaritas today and maybe lighting the smoker up. But then I realized I'm out of dragon's blood oil, which actually bothered me a bit because I don't use it often and I don't remember running out of it. So I don't know if it leaked during the move or if I used it and forgot. Either way, I wanted to go ahead and get some more made up because this stuff is wonderful, but we'll discuss some of its properties after we go ahead and make this up a bit. Now, there's a few variations you can go on. Myself, I like to keep it simple for most cases. So what I like to do, pick your carrier oil of choice. Now you can use flaxseed oil, grapeseed oil, I think it's called yuba yuba oil, or yubo yubo, something like that. I'm not good at pronouncing it. Let's just make fun of Drake here. Any of those will work. But for me, I actually use olive oil. Now you don't need extra virgin olive oil for this. I know that's what I got here, but I grabbed it out of the kitchen. So I don't buy an extra container of oil for my oils. I just grab what I got in the kitchen. So we will put that back in the kitchen. Now I also don't like to fill these up all the way because as you're adding ingredients it's going to change. And I try not to fill them up all the way because I like to leave myself room to customize it if need be, or to add extra things if I'm making a special blend. Okay, now after you got your oil added to your vial, you're going to need dragon's blood. I know a lot of people buy dragon's blood essential oil or scented oils. I don't like them. I don't use them. So I buy dragon's blood, and you can find it online usually. That's where I get mine when I can find it. In resin chunks in a bag. And that's how I buy it. When it comes in, I always grind it into a powder, which I don't know if the camera's going to let you see that. You know what? Let me dump it out here. And I just grind it into a nice powder. And I store it in a jar, which this is, I've had this for over 10 years. Incense cones actually came in this little jar for dragon's blood incense cones. So when I started grinding my resin, I started putting it in here. That way I didn't have to make a label. And just sprinkle some of your dragon's blood in there. Now, I've been asked how much dragon's blood resin should I add to my olive oil. And I always tell them, go with how you feel on this, because you want enough in there to add some strength to it, but you don't want to make a paste. So I just always kind of eyeball it. Sorry people, I'm Southern. We don't really measure stuff. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It feels like it needs some of this, tastes like it could use some of that. That's why we're so hard at giving recipes. Half the time we don't know them. We can reproduce it somehow. It's kind of magic, you know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and get this all sprinkled in there. Now, if you're not shooting a video and you didn't want to set it out here so that you could hold it up and show your viewers, nothing wrong with using a small funnel to get this in there a lot easier. In fact, I'd recommend it. Now, you're going to see that stuff just kind of congeals on the bottom there. You can expect that to happen. That will happen. That's fine. No big deal. We are making a homemade product, so it's not going to be as pretty as what's on the shelves. And that's fine. And I actually want to add a little more dragon's blood. So let's go ahead and shovel a few more pinches in there. Now, one of the reasons I use this, obviously, is because I do work with dragons so much. And this is a great anointing or blessing or empowering oil if you work with dragons. Dragons absolutely love dragon's blood resin or just dragon's blood incense. And for those wondering, I have asked them. They don't care if it's all natural dragon's blood resin or if it's just the cheap cones or sticks that you can buy at the convenience store or Walmart. So if you got it, if you can get it, go ahead and get it. In fact, I buy my dragon's blood incense. I buy the cones in bulk so that I've got plenty on hand for all my research, my rituals, and etc. And I just keep buying it in bulk anytime I run low. Because the resin, you can burn it on charcoal. You can burn this on charcoal. It does go a little goes a very long way. It creates a lot of smoke. And there are times I use it that way. But most of the time, I don't like dealing with the charcoal. So I use this for other options, and I use the cones. So, all right, I look like I got enough in there now. Now, my bottle here, a little plastic spray bottle. See that? So you can get these. You can reuse old ones that you got at the pharmacy that may have had perfume or travel section's a great place to find these. Go to the travel section to get the travel sizes. Now, my wife, due to her travel, wanted things that she could put items in she couldn't find. So we bought a bunch of these in bulk off Amazon. And that is where I got a good chunk of my bottles. She's like, I'll give you half of them. Okay. I'll always find a use for them. And I do. I actually have made magical waters and stuff for clients before and use them for that. All right. Now, once you give it a good shake, like it's a martini, you're going to get this ugly color. And that is your oil. Now, I would let this sit anywhere from 3 days to a week before using it. You want the oil to be able to absorb as much of that dragon's blood resin and hydrate it as possible. And if you can, keep it somewhere where every day you can give it a good shake. I usually, I'll be putting this on my desk over there so I can shake it every day. Now, with that said, now that we got our oil mixed and shaken, yes, it's that easy. And you'll save money because this right here, this ain't going to cost you maybe $2 or less to make. And you can make a lot of it. This little bottle will go a long way. And I still have a massive amount of resin here, so I can make a lot more of it if I wanted. And we didn't even really hit the level on our olive oil, didn't even really move. So you can save yourself a lot of money by making your own. I know some people don't like to, but, you know, no problem. Now, if you do want it to smell better, you're going to have to add some of the scented oil kind of stuff to it, and that's fine. You can do it. Now, dragon's blood itself is excellent for protection, banishing, exorcisms. So all these, and healing even, and increasing health. So all these things are areas where you could use this dragon's blood oil. And, of course, we already said you can use it for working with dragons. However, perhaps the most potent use of dragon's blood incense resin or the oil is the fact that it is known to empower all magics. So it will actually add extra power to any working you're doing, period, across the board in magic. It really doesn't have a limitation there that I have found yet. And I have tested it because every time I see that attribute to it, it just says all magic. And people argue about what counts and what doesn't. So I've been testing it, and everything from Reiki to energy work to key work to servitor work, chakra work, you name it, I've not found a limitation yet. And that, for me, is really the best benefit of this stuff because it does ramp it up so well. So that said, when I move into a brand new house, I always put a dab for protective purposes over all my windowsills and all my doorways and entryways and stuff like that to help empower the wards and the protections on my house. I also use it on my actual physical wards. I do have physical wards that I have carved and burned and designed that are again over all the entryways. And I use this dragon's blood oil to again reinforce and empower those even further. Now another thing, if I'm ever having a hard time with my arcane senses, like maybe I'm under the weather, stopped up, something, but for whatever reason I'm drained, I need to do some working, and I'm just drained, I will dab this on my third eye to boost those arcane senses so that I'm functioning at my normal levels, even though I'm under the weather or drained in some way, or maybe my senses are blocked in some way for some reason. And I do also use it as a spell ingredient for those spells that I just don't want to take a chance of missing. I am going to use this to push it an extra 20% or more, which usually, it's very rare when I use this with the spells that I use it on that I don't get a result. But now mind you, that's because I do demand such a high result already from my spells. So I demand like an 85% results at least. So that boost really just kind of pushes me toward maxing it out. But this is a great ingredient all the same for helping you increase your workings all around. Now, I will say this. Some people have told me you can take this internally. Do not eat this. Do not drink this. Do not take this internally. Every time I've looked it up, I have found that it is not safe. Now, there may be a herbalist or somebody out there who they can even work with like nightshades, and they know just the proper amounts. That's not me, and if that's not you, don't do it. Don't take this internally. At best, I would add a few drops if you wanted to your bath at night. It'll help really ground you out, help cleanse your energy, help banish any negativity from you, all at the same time while empowering you. And if you actually create a bath for a specific reason, whether it be de-stressing, calming, it's also going to empower the effects of that bath. So I know a lot of individuals who love to use this as well. In fact, I got one friend, she actually adds it to all her bath bombs that she makes. I may try to get her on the channel to show us how she makes those bath bombs. I don't know how to make them. I don't. So we'll see about that. We'll see if I can get her to do that. No promises, but I'll talk to her. But you can definitely add this to a bath or an herbal bath. So I do recommend you mix you up a batch of this and you give it a try. You can, obviously, olive oil you can find anywhere, any grocery store, dirt cheap. Dragon's Blood's carried at most occult shops. If not, Amazon has it. Just type in Dragon's Blood resin. It'll pop right up, no problems. And you should be able to find a bag of it for $5 or less in most cases. So I hope this helps. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you already have made this and are using it, by all means, drop some comments below. Let us know how you use it in your personal practice and your experience with it. And if you have some additives that you like to add to it for your personal batch and you feel comfortable sharing it, also share those so that we can all add those to our knowledge base and our grimoires as well. Because like I said, this is as basic as it gets. This is as simple as it gets. And this is usually my go-to. It really is. This is usually my go-to. Though I have added mint or other things to it in the past. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. Remember, we have live streams on Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a stream on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Check out many of our other videos in our Kitchen Witchery series, our Basic Magic series, and our Dragon Magic playlist. Until next time, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic, and I'll see you next time.